Hey there, everyone. This is going to be the start of the old Q&A. Um, yeah, I guess I'll just quickly go over how this works for you, for I guess those of you who are new to the Q&A format for this channel. Basically, I had a Q&A video, and people left questions on it. And I will be answering those questions in some kind of random order. It's not incredibly random, but I mean, I just took it from the list of YouTube's displaying it to me. So whatever that order is, I don't know. It's not timed though, so I don't know what the order is. But generally, this is the order. And yeah, so that's your basic Q&A setup. But of course, this one is on my channel, so it's gonna be long. The last one was hours and hours. This one is gonna be hours and hours. But also, number two, which most people don't do for your Q&A, is that if you have more questions, if you think of a question, you're watching this Q&A answers video, and you're thinking like, geez, I wish I had asked that, write it below, and I'll add it to the list, and we'll just continue until I run out of questions, which is why these are always hours and hours. But yeah, if you think of any questions now, or you missed the original video with the questions, and you want to ask some now, feel free, go ahead. I will answer them in the next part. There'll be many parts. I can tell you that already just by the number of questions that I have. So, and because I'm long-winded about everything. And this makes me wish I had brought oh, I do have a drink. So, I was going to say, because I'm going to be talking a lot, so I'm going to need a drink. Because I can tell my voice is already going before I've even started. So I'm going to drink something. And we're going to go right into it. So we've got questions. And the first questions on the lists, we've got a couple questions here from Mr. Bloodstains, who is, I don't know if he has a channel. I rarely check if people have a channel unless they mention it. But it's somebody who's been commenting on my videos for a long time. So it's someone whose name I recognize. So thumbs up for staying around for so long. But first question. Do you have any plans to play the Falcom RPGs, such as the Legend of Heroes series? If so, any particular reasons you have for putting off playing that series for so long? Let's see. Falcom RPGs and me don't go together so well. And that's not to say I dislike them. It's just I don't really like them like a lot of people tend to. I've played a couple, not the entire series. Like I haven't the most games that any series I played is Ys, and that one is like mostly nostalgia based because I played Ys Book 1 and 2 on the TurboGrafx 16 when I was a kid, and I played Ys 3 on the Super Nintendo at around the same time. Not exactly the same time, obviously, but you know, in that Super Nintendo era, so back in the day. And then I've played Ys, geez, I don't know. Not many more. I've played the one on the Vita, the recent one, and one on maybe PSP. I want to say PSP, but I don't remember which one. Ark of Nepishtim maybe is the is the game. I can't remember, but it's one of those, one of the PSP ones. But you know, even Ys, I'm not like a huge fan of. Even though like I have some like a kind of nostalgic feeling for it, I'm not like a huge fan of that series. I think it's all right, but like, you know, I'm not like gonna run out and buy a new Ys game when it comes out. Usually, like even the Vita one, I never bought it. I got it on PS Plus and I just played it there. So like, you know, I'm not like a huge fan of the series. And Falcom kind of does that to me. Like I don't particularly feel like I want to run out and buy their games. Like all of them have this kind of feeling that to me that is not like what I'm super into. And I think like that's kind of their fate, I guess. Like Legend of Heroes, I've played a couple of those actually, but not any of the recent ones. Like I've played some of the old Legends of Heroes games, so you know, maybe it's a good series. I know people are always raving about it, but like people are always raving about all the other Falcom stuff too, and I'm not like I haven't found anything that I'm like a huge fan of yet. The latest game I was going to buy was actually the Xanadu game because I like those games, um, but I still haven't bought it. And they announced like a PS4 like super release with all the DLC or whatever. So, I'm still like, maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll just get the beta version because I assume it'll be cheap once the PS4 version comes out. I don't know. It's that kind of situation where like pretty much every Falcom game like is like that for me, where I just feel like, if I find it cheap, I'll buy it. Otherwise, I'm fine not playing it. I know, like, first question, I'm sure a lot of you are already raging slash crying, but that's kind of how it is with me for Falcom. I'm just not into it. Let's see. Question 2. If I recall correctly, you once said you never finished Xenoblade Chronicles and didn't enjoy it. Xenoblade Chronicles was one of my favorite games ever, so I'm curious to know your thoughts about it. Xenoblade Chronicles is another one of those games. Like, I know a lot of people love it, but I felt like I couldn't get into it. Like, I played it for, I don't even know, 30 hours before I was just like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, that, and like, it's not even to say it was bad. It wasn't bad so much as I just really wasn't into it. And I just, there are some games, like, it's rare actually that I'll put a lot of time into an RPG and not finish it. Like, some RPGs I'll play for like an hour or two and I'll think, well, this sucks, done. But like, usually if I put like more than like 6 or 7 hours into it, I'm in for the long haul. Like, I'm not gonna stop playing after that because I've already invested too much time. But like, it's really rare that I put something down after playing it, especially for like 30 hours. You put that much time into it, you're just kind of like, well, I gotta finish it. But like, I just couldn't play Xenoblade anymore. I just thought like, I'm really not like into this. It's not noticeably bad in any way, but it was just like not for me. And I think like, I mean, but I've had situations where like I've played the game and like thought like this is bad, and I've stopped playing after a while. Like the most recent one I can think of is Bravely Default, where I just hated that game. Like I mean, it's like one of the rare cases where like I actually traded in a game. Like, it never happens. I never do that. Even for games that I didn't really like, I didn't. But like Bravely Default, I just wanted it out of my face. Like, get this game away from me. I hated it so much. And like, I know that like sounds weird to some people too, because I know a lot of people really like that game. But like, you guys didn't get the initial Japanese release. You got like the fixed version that came out afterwards. And the initial Japanese release is so tedious and it's just so annoying, and you've got all this crap you've got to do, and then you like get to you guys all know the point where like it's the where you have to like go through stuff again, and I, I just wanted to smash my Game Boy at that point. It was just like, I hate that shit. Because like, a lot of, you'd think like, oh well, you can turn off the encounters and you can change the stuff on the fly, but you couldn't do that in the initial Japanese version. You had to like do random encounters, and like the leveling up period was slower, and all of that stuff they changed in that new version. Where like, if you read any of the interviews before the game came out about the Japanese version when it was going to come out, like they were like, yeah, it cuts about 30 hours out of the game, makes the game you can beat it 30 hours quicker, even though there's new stuff in there, and like that is I could see that because like it was so tedious and I just hated it. Like, I just really didn't like that game. But Xenoblade was not one of those. It wasn't that I really hated it. I just got so bored with it that I was just like, yeah, I'm not doing this. Because I'd heard that it was like 80 hours, and I was like, I can't do this for 50 more hours. I'm gonna, cash in my chips now and get out while the getting is good. So that was pretty much it for Xenoblade for me. Next, we've got, how is the Vita market in Japan? I love the Vita, but it's almost dead here in North America. That's kind of sad, actually. But the the Vita market in Japan is relatively good. It's usually one of the top-selling systems every month. Like, there's plenty of times it beats the 3DS in sales. per month, and there's still a bunch of games coming out for it, albeit not exactly like blockbuster games. There's a lot of visual novels and things like that, but like I think the people who have the Vita are into that kind of thing. Like those are the kinds of games that sell on the Vita. But there's Hatsune Miku and stuff like that comes out, and like Vita goes off the charts. And there's like it's kind of a good system for people who were into the PSP types of games. Even though there's not as much variety as in the PSP, there are a lot of like the main focus that people were kind of into in for Japan anyway, like RPGs, visual novels, some kinds of strategy games like Super Robot Tyson. Those kinds of games always come out on the Vita and always do really well. So, I can see it doing well. You know what? I sadly though I think like that's it for Sony in the portable games market. I think they're done. I doubt there's going to be like a successor to the Vita, which is sad. I don't know how long the Vita will remain, but like I guess like the Vita could go for a long time still, like because it still sells pretty well, at least here. In North America, nobody's developing for it. There's no need to, I guess, which is sad because there were a lot of. Recently in North America, the XCOM came out like a stealth release for the Vita. I guess digital only, but and like in Europe, the like Space Hulk came out as a physical release on the Vita. I'd buy that. I should buy that actually because it's a game I have. It's like one of the only games I've ever bought on Steam, and it's the kind of game that I really like. But I'd rather play it on the Vita because it would mean I don't have to use my Steam account ever. But that's good. I like the Vita, and it's a great system. So and I imagine that whatever comes out for whatever Nintendo puts out next for their handheld, it'll probably be about the same specs as the Vita is now. So like potentially, I guess the Vita could just go on forever, like, and they could just port whatever Nintendo's stuff is to the Vita also for a long time. I guess they could probably do that. It's my guess, at least. But yeah, Vita pretty good in Japan, not so great anywhere else. Let's see. Last question from Mr. Bloodstains here is: I'm actually visiting Japan next month. Well, all right. That's good. Speak very basic Japanese, but plan to travel around most of Japan for 2 weeks. How hard will it be to communicate in more rural places I plan to visit? What are the places that I definitely have to visit? Okay, it's not going to be easy to communicate almost anywhere without Japanese. Because even you'd think like, oh, Tokyo, they can speak English, but like, not really. People will try, but they'll try everywhere. They'll try in rural areas too, because that's how people are. But it's not gonna, it'll be easier to travel around, like not communicate, but in city areas like Tokyo, you'll get like the station names are in English at the station, so you can do that stuff easier. And like train announcements are in English in Tokyo, but like outside of Tokyo, that stuff doesn't happen. So like your station names aren't going to have English names on them, and it's not going to be easier in rural places, but it shouldn't be much harder, unless your reading is awful. But that's probably that's not a communication issue, I don't think. Now I've been to rural areas of Japan, like not rural like hanging out rural, but like I've been through them and interacted with people, and like it's fine. And I'm trying to think of like how it was when I couldn't really speak Japanese, but that I didn't really go to any rural areas when I was like here during my like first 6 months or so. So I don't really know. But places you have to go, it depends. Like if you've been to Japan before, like you've probably been to most of the kind of tourist areas that are interesting, because they're all like in your kind of travel guides. But if you haven't, you really should go to those places. Like you should go to Asakusa and like check out Sensoji and like the all of the like shops and things in that area because it's interesting. And I mean, if you're gonna be there, you might as well go to the Sky Tower because Sky Tree or whatever. It's it's like walking distance from there. So I mean, you can see it. You can just walk right over. Um, and that's I mean that's worthwhile to check out. It's I mean you get like a cool kind of view of Tokyo, and then you'll have like various places you'll probably want to check out. You'll probably want to check out like Shibuya and Harajuku and Akihabara, even though those two, the latter two suck. Comparatively suck, I should say, because they're still. I mean, I guess they're still cool if you like haven't ever been there, but like, they're kind of soulless now. But that's totally off topic. Maybe if you're in Tokyo, you should head to Kanagawa and check out like the like Kamakura and all the kind of temples along Enoden, which is in Enoshima. Maybe if you're, I mean, you'll be here next month. It's the summer. You might as well go to Enoshima because it's a beach. Um, if you if you have money, you can like rent a jet ski or something, or you can like just hang out on the beach, or go to there's like a little Enoshima is an island, so you can kind of there's like a temple at the top, and it's like a little mountain island, so you're like walking up like a kind of steep stairs and stuff. It's a pretty cool place to go actually because like once you get to the top, you have like a really nice view of the area, like the ocean and like some islands and things. It's a pretty nice place. Um, that's about it though. I mean, just go to your touristy places. Check out stuff like if you want to find some kind of weirdo places that are a little bit off the beaten track. I mean, check out Nakano Broadway because it's like full of weird shit. Um, I mean, like I think I mentioned this in a different video, but like I went there with a friend who was visiting from the U.S. and there's like a pedo bear sex lube at some shop, like weirdest branding ever. Or maybe not. I guess like if you're a pedo bear, you need some sex lube. But then there was like it was like all over the place. So like I don't know. It was just kind of weird. But that was kind of a fun thing to find. There's like a ton of like weird little shops in Nakano Broadway. And it's interesting to go to, and it's still kind of a bit underground. Like it's less touristy than like Harajuku has become and Akihabara has become. It's less chain stores, so it's interesting. You can go there and find some cool stuff. So yeah, that's about it for Tokyo, I guess. Like there's plenty of spaces all over Japan you should go, but like I can't really be. I'm not an expert on anywhere outside of the Tokyo metro area. So yeah, that's it. Let's go to our next person. Next set of questions here. We've got DRPG Forever, who does have a YouTube channel you should check out. He just puts up gameplay for dungeon RPGs, which is great. I mean, it's good. You can't get enough of dungeon RPG gameplay. He's probably got what you're looking for. He's got obscure stuff, which I enjoy because like he's got stuff that I like that I haven't played yet on there. Mainly like one of the games that I've wanted but I just haven't found anywhere, like PlayStation One's Wizardry Dim Wheel. This game is not easy to find. Like I mean, I guess I could just order it, but like even then, like sometimes it's not in stock. So it's the kind of I mean, but he's got video of all that stuff, so you should check his channel out. But questions. We've got. He's asking Atlas games before versus today. They seem more popular today, but do they feel different? And he has in parentheses dumbed down. So and he's kind of right. I like Atlas games now, and I like Atlas games previously. I think they're good, but they're good for different reasons. And are they dumbed down? Yeah, kinda. I mean, they just are. But some of it is a little bit of kind of modern programming conveniences, and some of it is kind of like lowering of difficulty. So think about, like, here's an example for me. Think about the difficulty level of something like, well, I mean, think about the difficulty level between like a Persona 2 or Persona 1, not Persona, SMT 1 and 2, and or even SMT 3, which even I don't really think is too difficult, but like SMT 1 and 2 is a little bit more difficult. And then you like have SMT 4 that came out recently and it's like not so difficult. Like really not so difficult in a lot of places, and like the newest one is even less difficult, I thought, like than the one that is already out. So that's the kind of thing where like it has kind of been getting easier in terms of difficulty. But and there are some things like I was saying, like modern programming conveniences. Like previously in an SMT game, like when I played SMT3, I was like crazy into um, fusing my demons, and like this is I think this is a lot of the reason why I didn't find SMT3 hard is because I was really into fusing the demons correctly, and I say correctly by meaning like I was purposely giving them skills that would be helpful to me um, in an optimized way. So that would what I mean by that is that I was like making charts, like flow charts of how to make certain demons with certain skills and which demons had which skills. And then like you know you have that like table that used to come with all the games where you have to like see like okay, if I fuse this type of demon with this type of demon, I'll get this type of result. And to do that, like to figure out, sometimes you have to like do it multiple times to get the things you want, to get, you know, within the level you're in, and also to get the skills you want. So like I had to make charts and like do all this kind of like math work. It's like math work, but you know, because you're using lots of charts and tables. And you know, I did a lot of that in SMT3. Like I spent the probably more time doing charts and tables and fusing than I did playing the game, which is, you know, probably not for most people, but like if you do that, it's like ridiculously easy to beat that game. You can just become super overpowered super quickly, and like regardless of your level. So you know, it's the kind of thing where, you know, once you do that, it just makes it easier. And you could kind of do that previously, but it takes a lot of skill. It takes, I mean, you really have to figure out how everything works, and you know, make charts and do things to keep track of it all. And now, like in SMT4, for example, like it will do that automatically. You don't have to use the chart. All you have to do is search for the type of demon you want, and it'll like give you an automatic list, and that's handy. You can like search by skill too, which is handy. I mean, you can do it. You can get like all you can do all the stuff, and you don't have to make charts because it's already programmed into the game. So it kind of makes it easier to do like all the stuff I was doing in 3 or 2 and 1, but you can do it, you know, digitally automatically. It's just like they offer you a lot more tools to make it easier to do that. And I don't think that like that's a difficulty issue. It's just kind of like a modern convenience, and I think it's convenient. It is, because like in the latest SMT games, like I don't have to do any of, and I don't have to make any charts. I mean, sometimes I make notes, just to remember some things between like multiple levels of fusing, but it's not even really necessary for the most part, unless you're like doing a crazy challenge. And you know, that was, I think, doing the crazy challenges was the most fun I had in SMT4, because you know, like when I did the Brothers challenge, it's on my channel, where like you beat the hard bosses with just the Jack Brothers, and like it's easy, it's a stupid easy battle if you've done it right, but like, you know, if you don't do it right, it makes the game really hard. But yeah, I think that's true. I mean, here's another example of why it's different. Take the story of Persona 2 and compare it with something like Persona 4. Persona 2's story, and the characters too. Persona 2's story is much darker. Fucking Hitler shows up. That's not exactly, you know, it's not exactly your standard kind of Persona 4 kind of Scooby Doo mystery. But also, the characters in that game are, well, okay, depending on the part you're playing, the characters are adults. Like, they're grown-ups with grown-up jobs, and they have like adult worries and adult issues that they have to deal with. And and it's not stupid stuff, like it's not silly things that they're dealing with, it's like real adult problems. And comparatively, like think of that between like the comparative issues that they have in a game like Persona 4, where they're kind of like have this kind of small scale issue that they're dealing with, and then they have these kind of like growing up issues, which I mean are, it's not to say that those aren't important issues, but like they're not exactly like I don't know, relatable in terms of like an adult, I guess. um like think of like character, and think of like a character like Teddy or something. It's like there's nothing like that in Persona 2, where there's like a goofy mascot character. um and like there's a huge difference here, and even in tone, because like if you played the entirety of Persona 2, the first half and the second half, you know that like the main character from the first part is in the second part as like a support. That he's like a support character. He's in your game, but not always. And he's like fucked up from the first game. Like he's not right anymore. Like he is damaged. He's like actually mentally damaged by the results of the first game. And like it's not like killing him or anything, and he's not like freaking out and like but he's different. He's wholly a different person than he was in the first game because of what happened to him in that game. And like there's nothing like that, and that's dark. I mean, he's like 17 or something, and he's like just fucked up because of this because of what happens to him in the game. And like to have a character like that in the part, it's like you wouldn't have that in Persona 4. That wouldn't happen. It's too dark for current Atlas, I think, which is sad. Or at least current Persona. I mean, there are some like glimmers of hope, I think, in terms of like the darkness, or like the more adult storytelling. And I think Catherine was a good example of that, because I really liked that game, and I really liked I think the characters were relatable, and they had real life issues, and it wasn't a big overarching like save the world kind of story, but it was still really interesting because of its more grown up themes. And I think like if they made a Persona with that kind of cast, like a cast of characters like Catherine had, but in a Persona game, so like to take out the school thing, take out the school scenes, and change it. I mean, they could all work at the same company. They'll all have you have a similar schedule. They all have to come into work. They instead of classes, they can go to meetings together. Instead of like a lunch break, they have a lunch break. It's not even changed. There's things like that. And some days, like some characters might have to work late. They'll have overtime or something, and they can't be in your party. You've got all these options, and it's like a similar thing to school. And then you can have like, oh well, we've got to go on our business retreat for a weekend or something. It's the same kind of vacation type of thing. And then you'll have like set holidays. My company does anyway, so I don't see why this game wouldn't. And then you can also there's so many options for that to just give it more of an adult thing. And I think previously Persona 2 would have been like that. It is like that, except like it's not the same level of character building as like a Persona 3 or 4. But I think I've been like kind of over talking on this subject. But I have like it's a good question, because I think like it has some real, he has a real point with it. Because Atlas is not the same as it was previously. And I think like it just has a lot to do with like who is in charge now. Not to say like Sega ruined it. I'm not saying that. That's not what I mean, even, because this is like before the Sega thing even happened. It's like who is developing the games and who is writing the scenarios, because those original people are not doing it anymore. It's different people. And there's a change. There's a change between those people. And I've played games by the people who did the original SMT, like who wrote the scenario, and the stories are dark. They're dark, and they're not you know, they're not happy games. And the same, I'm playing a game right now that's by the some of the original creators of the original Persona game, and you know, so far it's all right. Like it's not quite as, I mean, it's a little bit um, lighter hearted, but it's still like darker than like a Persona 4. So I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna go to the next question before I just keep talking about this forever. Persona 5, hyped, scared, thoughts. Persona 5, I'm hyped. I got that pre-ordered. I'm gonna be playing that. I'm pretty excited for that actually. I think it looks good, and I like that they're apparently bringing back the kind of demon negotiation that was in Persona 2. I, I'm honestly interested in how it's going to work because, you know, previously Persona 3 or 4 didn't have like the negotiation thing going on. And they did have it in 2, but the system is entirely different. Like, there's not a fusion system to like attach personas. It's not really done that way. It's like an entirely different system. And I'm wondering if they're going to change the system entirely for 5 to something like, I mean, maybe to something like 2, or maybe to something like SMT, where you have, I mean, because if you're doing the demon negotiation thing, there must be a reason. Um, you know, I guess like it could be to get like these personas you're negotiating. It seems kind of weird, but like in 2, like you're usually negotiating for that kind of reason and for items and things. So who knows? I'm interested in it though, and I think like it looks good, and it's been delayed so much that I think like, you know, they probably put a lot of effort into making it a good game. So I can't really complain about that. I think it's going to be good. So I'm hyped for that. Next question: Final Fantasy 15 game, movie, anime. Thoughts? Do you think they should have stuck to the game only and do the rest later if it was popular enough? Um, you know what? I haven't been paying attention to Final Fantasy 15. I haven't played any of the demos, and I've just been like putting it off because like I'm not gonna buy it right away. Like after, you know, I'm sure I mentioned this before, but Final Fantasy 12 I hated, and I stopped playing Final Fantasy after 12. Like I didn't finish 12. 12 was another one of those games that I just really disliked, and I stopped playing. But like I stopped playing 12, and I was like, I just thought like I'm done with Final Fantasy. I'm not getting any more Final Fantasy stuff, and I didn't play 13, not because of the anti-13 like mob, but because I was so disgusted by 12 that I was just like, I'm not buying the series anymore. But like after, it's been a long time since I played 12, and I think like 15 looks all right. I mean, it looks pretty good to me, and I think it'll be all right. I'm gonna buy it. I'm not gonna like care what any of the reviews say. If they say it's good, I'll be thankful. If they say it's bad, I'm still gonna buy it. But I'm not gonna buy it right away because there's a lot of stuff coming out around the same time that I'm more interested in. But the game, the movie, the anime, what all of that, I don't care. I mean, I don't think like it affects, with a company like Square Enix, I don't think it affects like them making it. It's not like a Mighty Number 9 situation where there's a limited amount of people and a limited amount of money to do these things. Final Fantasy 15 they've been working on forever. The movie and the anime, it's not taking away anything from their game development, I don't think. I mean, I seriously doubt like anybody working on those teams is, there's not like a huge overlap is what I'm saying. So like I doubt it's gonna do much. I mean, to affect quality. So like it kind of makes sense for them to have all that stuff ready to go, just in a business sense. I don't, you know, I know people think about it in a way that like, oh, they should have put more effort into this instead of the anime, but I don't think there's a crossover. I think Square Enix is like a big enough company that like the crossover is so small for that thing that it's not taking away anything, and it's just like another way for them to generate income off this game that they've been working on for 120 years or whatever. So, you know, it's kind of how things work. So I don't really care about that. I mean, it's gonna suck if it's not popular and nobody likes the characters. It'll suck for them because it's just a waste of money. But like, if it's even mildly popular, and in Japan, it'll whatever they spend on the money on this movie, anime stuff, like it'll probably get made back in just Japan. People love Final Fantasy in Japan. So it's probably fine. So let's see. Last question from DRPG Forever. Etrian Odyssey 5 classes you're looking forward to. I'm buying Etrian Odyssey 5. It's one of the games I have pre-ordered right now, but I haven't looked at any stuff from it. This is a common theme for me. If I pre-ordered a game, if I have it pre-ordered, I never look at anything for the game. I'll see an initial trailer or something, and I'll think, oh, I gotta get that, and I pre-order it. I'm done. I'm not gonna look at any more info. So I don't know. I vaguely know that they changed classes or added classes in 5. Like I don't actually know. Did they change all of the classes or did they just add new ones? Because in previous games they've changed the classes entirely, and then they like changed them back or used some other ones and changed a few at a time. And like I think if they're all new classes, like I don't know, I haven't looked at what the new classes are, and I won't look until I get the game. So I'm just I've been like tired of ruining games for myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm tired of looking at games and thinking like, oh, I gotta see all the info about this. I gotta know everything about it before I buy it, and then like getting it, and it's not what I've been thinking it was. I'm rather have no expectations going in, and then be able to kind of judge the content of it based on like my initial impressions of the actual game instead of what I imagined it would be in advance. It's worked out because it makes me enjoy playing them more. I find more stuff that way. So I've been kind of staying away from game information for stuff I know I'm going to buy. So I haven't like looked at much stuff for Persona 5. I haven't looked at much stuff for Final Fantasy 15, and I haven't looked at stuff for Etrian Odyssey 5. But I'm going to buy all those games sooner rather than later for 2 of them, and later for Final Fantasy 5 when it's cheap. But Final Fantasy 15, not 5. But whatever, you know what I mean. So yeah, I haven't looked at any of the classes, so I can't answer that question. But yeah, so next, okay, next we've got, all right, we are 37 and a half minutes into this video, and this next person has asked a lot of questions, and I don't know if I can answer them all within the time limit of this video, so maybe I will answer a few of them, and then I will come back to this I guess I'll start in the middle of them next time, because I can't actually record more than, I think like a little bit more than an hour is the max that my phone is going to be able to put on with all the stuff I have in my phone. So that's all of these parts are going to be at max like an hour. So I'll do as much as I can in the next 20 minutes. So this is Mutant0079, who is been on my channel for a long time and always comes into my videos when I stream and asks a million questions. It's great. I mean, he always asks a lot of questions, and it makes my streaming go so smoothly because I always have something to talk about. It's great. So and he's without fail has asked a lot of questions in this video too. So great. I will answer these. Question 1: your favorite nostalgic childhood memory. It's hard. Just off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't have a ton of like super good nostalgic childhood memories that I can think of. It's not to say like I had the worst childhood ever or anything like that, but like, there was a lot of shit that went down. So I can't really, like, I can't pick anything out that's been like super great that I can think of that like, like generally when I think of something I'm nostalgic for, it's something like I want to go back to. And there's not much for that in my childhood memories where like I think like, oh, I really wish I could go back to that time because that was awesome. There's not a lot of that. So yeah, I guess I don't really have an answer for that, but favorite, the next question is another one of the similar vein, which I could probably answer, which is my favorite gaming nostalgic memory. I have a lot of those because I did play a lot of games. But favorites, you know, I made a video once about Kid Icarus, playing Kid Icarus on the day I got it on some like Christmas in like 1986 or 7 or something. And that's probably one of my favorite like nostalgic childhood memories like related to games, because like it was kind of like the culmination of like all this like um good feeling time, I think, at the time. And that game was so good that like I feel, you know, like I played it so much, and it was so fun for me that that's probably one of my favorites. I mean, there it's a video about Kid Icarus on my channel. Like if you're, that's probably it. So like you can actually go and hear me talk about it. Um, let's see, your favorite moment um, while you're staying in Japan. Um, that's hard. Like I'm bad at these kind of like my favorite moment things because I kind of don't. I don't tend to catalog these kinds of things as moments. Um, I have a lot of good times I've had in Japan, but like I can't think of a favorite moment or anything. It's really hard. I know some people have these kind of things where they can think of like these kind of favorite moments, but I'm really shit at that kind of stuff. Like, um, I just can't. I just can't think of anything, especially not off the top of my head. I'm sure there are things that I would probably put into that category. It's just like I really have to think about it. Um, but you know, I think just coming to Japan is like the big, my favorite part. Like just getting here and like not dying, I guess. Not being homeless, not, you know, fucking things up too much. That's my favorite part. It's not a moment, but like, you know, it's the kind of thing where, you know, things could have really gone downhill really quickly if, you know, there were extenuating circumstances. And that's like to say that, like, when I moved to Japan, like, I kind of went, how can I put, I went all in on that, balls deep, if you will. Like, there's no, you know, there's no, there was no going back once I came. So, like, I mean, I didn't have a, if I had not succeeded when I came to Japan, I would have been fucked. Like, I didn't have a place, don't have a place to live in the U.S. I sold my car. I, you know, gave up all my stuff. Essentially, like, if I did, if like things didn't work out, I would have had to start from zero in the U.S. again. Like that would have been awful. And coming from, you know, coming to Japan, like none of that stuff happened. I mean, everything worked out, and things worked out really well in some cases. Like I was way luckier in some situations than I ever should have been. Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know. Like charmed existence levels of like luck I've had, and I thought like that. A lot of that is really good for me. Like there's not a moment, but like the overall kind of time I think in the beginning where like everything was kind of up in the air and then it all came together. Good for me. Like I think like I just got really lucky in a lot of places and it really worked out. So your favorite place in Japan to hang out. This is if you can look behind you, you can see that I have like a crap load of stuff on the shelves there. This means that I don't leave my house that much. And that's not to say like, so like what I want to say is that like my favorite place to be in Japan is just like at my house. I don't tend to go out that much. Um, if I meet people, sometimes I go out, but like usually, like after a while, it's just like, why don't you come over to my house? That's kind of like how things turn out because I'm, you know, like not incredibly excited to be going out anywhere. Like, you know, there are some places I used to hang out a lot. So I used to hang out in like Harajuku back when I initially came because there was like a thriving scene of interesting people there. But all that kind of died 5 or 6 years ago. So, you know, that, you know, that's all kind of gone now. Akihabara used to be the same. I used to live in Akihabara in 2003, and it was a different place than it is now. It was like a completely different place. Um, Now it's like mostly chain stores and touristy places and kind of tax-free shops for tourists. There's so much of that now that like the charm of what it used to be is just gone. And Harajuku is the same. I mean, that's just what happened to it. And so all the places that I used to kind of hang out are, I have no reason to hang out there anymore. So now I'm just hanging out at home. Sometimes I hang out in like Shinjuku because I have friends who have a bar there. But like other than that, oh, I'm just hanging out at home. If you're like in Japan and you're like thinking, if you are someone who's visiting Japan, you know who I am, and you're like walking around and you see me out somewhere, like it's like a unicorn sighting. It's like such a rare thing because like I am almost never out. I'm usually at home. So let's see. Question 5. Your favorite anime, horror anime, old school anime, or just anime that's underrated? Um, I'm the worst person to ask about this because almost never watch anime. Um, my I can I it's not to say I've never watched any anime, but my favorite anime, I don't know, it's probably Akira, but only because like it's kind of it's like one of the first anime that I saw, and it's still good. It still looks good. It looks amazing, and it's still a good story. It still holds up. So that's like one of the ones that I kind of really have a kind of good memories of. Horror anime, Gyo. If you haven't seen that, it's pretty short, but like it's a Ito Junji story about sort of, it starts out about fish getting these kind of mechanical legs and coming on onto the land and attacking people, but it grows into something much bigger than that. But yeah, that's there's an anime version of it, and it's not the same as the manga. Like the characters are different, and the story is like kind of reversed. The characters are reversed anyway, but it's still really good. It's interesting, and I really liked that the anime for it. Let's see, favorite old school anime or just underrated. Okay, uh, old school anime. Okay, if anyone is as old as I am, which there are people out there, there's people. If you're like if you're like nearly 40 or above, um, you probably know that like when anime first was like kind of getting popular in the US, like there was very little choices for what you could see. And the things that like if I'm going to name off some anime that are old school anime that I watched, and I think like if anybody is around my age, they'll recognize all of the, and you like were interested in anime at the time, like you'll recognize all of these because they're kind of like the stock things. Like everybody saw them because it was basically the only things you could watch. Um, but as I mentioned, there's Akira, and Robot Carnival was another one that I really liked. Meikyu Monogatari, which is, I don't know what the English name for that is. Like I'm just not sure. It's probably Neo Tokyo, I think is the name of it actually. It's like a collection of shorts. That's a really good one. But I'm gonna try to think of like, there's Wicked City, um, Ninja Scroll, Fist of the North Star, obviously. Like there's Demon City Shinjuku, Devilman. Those kinds of ones were like the first ones that everyone got to see because they were kind of like in your video store in Blockbuster. You had, I guess like there's like a couple of like more obscure ones like Demon City Shinjuku I mentioned, right? Um, like Doomed Megalopolis, stuff like that. Those ones are like the old school ones that everybody saw. Like if you wanted to watch anime, like if you saw other stuff like I'm trying to think, there's like Record of Lotus War, Those ones were in English you could watch, but like if you wanted to watch other stuff than that, like uh, um, it was pretty rare to find it. But also, like, unless you live near if you live like near New York, like I would go to New York and get like um, fan dubbed VHS tapes if that gives you any idea of the of the time frame. But like to get anime, to get newer anime or anime that wasn't like commercially released, there wasn't many options. So like you had to buy bootleg fan dubs or fans. They're subbed. I didn't buy dubs. Fan subbed anime, like on VHS. That was like the only way you were getting it. So like that was kind of how it was. So underrated anime. I don't I'm not I don't know how well rated any anime is, but one of my favorite anime that I never hear anyone talk about is Detroit Metal City. It's not well made. It's like pretty cheaply made, and it's short, and it doesn't finish the story, but it's good. I mean, the manga is better, but like if you watch the anime, it's still fun. It still gets like the point across, and I think like it's pretty interesting. So I'd recommend that. I'd recommend the manga if you haven't read it. But if there's an option to read it, I don't know if it's in English, but the anime maybe has some dubbing. It's probably good, or subs. I guess you could probably find. But it's good. It's good enough to. It's interesting and it's funny enough to like want to watch. But question 6: Do you expect something awesome to happen to you in the future? Um, I guess. I don't know. Something, something, something. Sometimes awesome things happen to me. That's true, but like I don't expect them. Usually they're a surprise. I've had awesome things. I've had some real shit things happen to me pretty recently, but like I've had some awesome things happen from those shit things, and I've had like surprising things happen from shit things. So like sometimes like just having shitty things happen is like you know kind of a blessing in disguise, or at least like a lesson kind of learned, or like a you know hey, I never knew this was also a thing from bad things. That I'm trying to be vague because I mean I could give specific examples, but like I don't want to mention direct people or direct situations because it's too much time and this video has to end in a couple of minutes. So I'm trying to kind of blow through these, but hopefully, I don't know. So question 7: your favorite Japanese or Asian TV show? Um, I don't really watch that many. I don't watch TV enough. Like I don't watch almost any TV. So like I don't really know any TV shows. Like I haven't watched any of the like the popular stuff that everyone watches. Like I've never watched Game of Thrones, and I've never seen The Walking Dead or any of those kinds of shows. Like I've just never seen them because I don't watch TV that much. Like I have a TV, it's behind me, but it's not plugged into an antenna or anything or cable, so like I can't watch anything on it. Um, and like I watch some Japanese TV shows, but I watch Kamen Rider, but like I watch it on demand, so it's kind of it's not I watch it through Amazon, really, Amazon Video. So there's not really I just don't have any other options there. It's just like I don't. So it's gonna be Amazon's. It's gonna be Kamen Rider Amazon's right now because it's the only show I watch, like with any regularity anyway. So let's see. Next question. Oh, why don't you like the mecha genre in Gundam, and why don't you watch shonen series like Naruto or One Piece or other modern anime? Okay, I don't like mechs because they don't capture my imagination, and I know they do for some people. And there was a time where I was like slightly interested in it, but I have a friend who was really really into it, and he's always been into it like since the early '90s, where like we would role play, and he'd always want to play like Mech Warrior or Robotech or something, and like we'd play it occasionally, and it's not like he had other people who would want to play more, so I was kind of out on those days. But I don't know, it doesn't do it for me. It's kind of like people who are like the fantasy version of people who are really into cars or something. Like it's just not for me. Like I just don't care about that kind of stuff. Like as impractical as a giant robot is, it's possible. Like someone could make that. It's not fun for me at that point. Like I feel like it's kind of like a goofy power fantasy, and like I get it. It's not even that I don't hate it or anything. Like I've played some giant robot games that I've enjoyed. Super Robot Tyson, I like that series. I don't play all of them because there's a million of them, but like I played a couple of them just recently, and I like those games, and but I don't really care about the robots at all. I just kind of care about the strategy and the story, and it's the same. Like I just can't get into that stuff because it's too robot focused, and like when I was a kid, I liked Voltron. I had a bunch of robot toys, but like it kind of just I found other stuff that I like more, and I like there's only like a limited amount of time and energy I can put into like liking these things, and I just can't. I don't have room for mecha stuff. So that's I guess the best explanation I can do. Shonen series like um I don't know. I just never watched those. I've never. I mean, I watched Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball, the original one, but like, other than that, like, I've never seen One Piece. I've never seen Naruto, and they might be good actually, but they might actually interest me. I just never watched them. I'm just, I've never had the urge to be like, yeah, I kind of want to check that out, and maybe they're good. I don't have anything against those. I don't like hate those kinds of things, so I don't like I feel like, oh, I hate that stuff, so I'm not going to even give it a shot. It's just like I'm not interested enough to give it a shot. If there was like a cool game or something that came out that I was like interested in and I played it and I was like, oh, this story is interesting, maybe I would probably check out the anime for it, but like it's just not happening. So like until something I have some reason, I'm not going to watch those. Question 9. Oh, like that sweet because I just answered that. Did you like Dragon Ball back in the day? Yes, I did. I watched Dragon Ball series and I watched Dragon Ball Z up until like the end of the Frieza saga, I guess. So I haven't watched all of the Dragon Ball series, but like I just got tired of it after a while. It's long. It's just so many episodes. But yeah, I'm almost like an hour into this video, and that's 9 questions, but there's 3 or 4 left, so I'm gonna answer those at the beginning of the next video when I start that. But this is only part 1. Like, seriously got through 1 page of questions out of 5. So even if nobody asks any more questions, there's gonna be probably 4 more parts to this. Other than that, though, if you have any more questions, you want to ask some more, feel free to comment below and I will add them to the bottom of the list, and we will continue this never-ending Q&A until it ends. So yeah, that's going to be it for this part. So I guess I'll catch you in the next part or the next video. It might be not a next part. Who knows? Whatever. So I will see you guys next time.